Chapter 144. We Are All Monsters. 1. After lunch, Chen Ge returned to the staff break room. When he opened the door, he saw Shu Wan squatting by the door. "What are you doing?" "Boss, when did you get this cat? It's so pretty, but it doesn't let me touch it," Shu Wan grumbled. "I just want to give it a hug." "Don't think about it. The cat is a stray and is hostile toward human." Chen Ge entered the room and placed the boards back. When the cat saw Chen Ge, it did not hiss angrily, but it did jump away like it did not want to be physically close to him. "Then why isn't the cat hostile toward you?" Zhu Wan was confused. Whenever she neared the cat, it would assume a hostile posture. "Perhaps it knows I'm a trustworthy, noble person." Sitting on the bed, Chen Ge stretched lazily. "Do you want to take a rest?" "It's all right. You can take a short nap. I'll wake you at 1:15 p.m. Shu Wan looked at the white cat with captivated eyes. "By the way, what is its name?" "I've tried giving it many names, but it didn't like any of them. When I called it White Tiger, it was weirdly responsive, so I'm considering calling it White Tiger from now on." Chen Ge looked at the white cat and considered it seriously. "You want to call a cat White Tiger?" Shu Wan thought that Chen Ge was kidding with her, but he didn't look like it. "Well, as long as you're happy." After Shu Wan left, Chen Ge continued to study the white cat on the chair. This cat could see those monsters, and even a baleful specter like Xiao Xiao was afraid of it. If he could make use of it, this cat could be a useful trump card for Chen Ge, but it was a living creature with its own consciousness. However, making it obedient to Chen Ge's orders would take some time. At least after a night of interaction, the cat was no longer that hostile toward Chen Ge. The cat was clever. It knew who was good and who was bad. "Your kittens are no longer with us. Even if you continue to guard them, nothing will change." Chen Ge thought about it and stood up to grab the basket. The white cat followed behind him, and the pair walked out the haunted house. Chen Ge used his hands to dig up a hole next to a tall tree. Then he placed the kittens within. When he did those things, he kept an eye on the white cat, afraid that it might suddenly become frenzied. "I understand your pain and know how important they are to you, but you have to understand." Chen Ge squatted on the floor and slowly filled up the hole. "Everything dies, and when it does, it is returned to nature. Only by burying them can their souls return to the great cycle." He did not know whether the white cat understood him or not, but the cat kept watching the mound of dirt. Staring at the 4 kittens that slowly disappeared from view, its pair of different colored eyes danced slightly. It did not attack Chen Ge or lose its rationality. It just sat there quietly. When Chen Ge dropped in the last handful of dirt, the white cat hid inside a tree hole. No matter how hard Chen Ge tried to get its attention, there was no response. The lunch break was soon over and the visitors returned. It was then that the white cat left the hole, but it just jumped higher into the tree's canopy. Chen Ge could not force the cat to do something it did not want to, so after a quick cleaning, he opened the haunted house for business. With the new 2-star scenario, many visitors instantly lined up again after experiencing murder by midnight or Ming Hun scenarios. The effect of the level delineation had slowly come into play. The greater the limitation, the more they wanted to try it. For thrill seekers, the unknown scenario had an unparalleled attraction. Chen Ge was busy until New Century Park closed. Before he had a chance to rest, Chen Ge followed Uncle Shu to the park storage to retrieve the surveillance devices. He told Shu Wan and Uncle Shu to leave first before entering Muyang High School alone. He installed the camera at few key locations. The installation took longer than Chen Ge expected. When he was finished, it was already 8 p.m. After washing his face, Chen Ge called Dr. Gao and Wang Shanglong before taking a taxi to Hai Ming Apartments. When he arrived, Dr. Gao and Wang Shanglong were already there. The steady Dr. Gao, who had a deep appreciation and understanding of psychology, easily won over the affection of the Wang brothers. Without the introduction from Chen Ge, they were already happily chatting among themselves. "My dad and Shanglong live on the 6th floor. I've informed them of our visit this afternoon." When the 3 entered Hai Ming Apartments, Chen Ge frowned slightly. That stench had returned. This stench was heaviest when they passed the third floor, but the others did not seem to smell it. They acted normally, discussing Wang Shanglong's condition. What is the source of this smell? Initially, Chen Ge thought it was the bag of animal bodies from room 302, but those carcasses should have been taken care of by now, so how come the stench still remained? They reached the top floor, and Wang Hailong knocked on the door for room 601. It was a man in his 50s who answered the door. He had peppery hair and a deep frown on his face. "Dad, this is the haunted house boss who experienced something similar, and this is the best psychologist in Zhujiang. Please, come in." There were many everyday items in the room. The room was not designed to fit that many people, and it appeared a bit small. "I've been told of your intention. Shanglong is inside the bedroom. If you can cure his illness, you will not worry for your financial future anymore." This old father looked far more ancient than his actual age. "Can we meet Shanglong?" Chen Ge stood at the very back. When the door was opened, the stench hit him like a wall, but weirdly enough, none of the others reacted in any way to it. It appeared that only he could smell this stench. "Okay, but I hope you are mentally prepared." Wang Shanglong's father pushed the bedroom door open. A stronger stench wafted out from the room, and Chen Ge rested his finger surreptitiously on the tip of his nose. It was not smelly per se, but it was a smell that made him feel uncomfortable. He instinctually wanted to escape when the smell hit him. The smell was like a voice telling him, "Do not get close. This thing is dangerous." Looking through the bedroom door, the small bedroom did not have any furniture, just a thin carpet covering the floor and several pillows in the corners. Other than these, the most eye-grabbing feature was the person who sat in the middle of the room. He was a squat person, perhaps only about 1.5 meters tall, and incredibly overweight. His legs were misshapen from the pressure, and he looked more like a meatball than a man. When he saw people walk in, the man grinned harmlessly at the door and raised his hand with difficulty in an attempt to wave. Whenever a new outsider saw Wang Shanglong, his father's heart felt like it was slashed by a knife. Shanglong doesn't know how to speak, but his other faculties are totally normal. Ask him anything, and he will answer by writing on the board. Chapter 145. We Are All Monsters. 2. Wang Shanglong's father observed Chen Ge and Dr. Gao out of the corner of his eyes. He knew how unusual his son looked, and whenever someone judged his child with a weird gaze, there was an indescribable pain in his heart. However, this time was different. Both Dr. Gao and Chen Ge acted normally. Exercise can help stave away heart problems and release stress. Try not to keep him cooped up at home. Dr. Gao removed his shoes and stepped into the room. He sat down beside Wang Shanglong without a trace of disgust or condescension. Wang Shanglong did not show fear at Dr. Gao's approach. If anything, it felt like he wanted the company. He wiggled his large body with difficulty, like he was trying his best to show his welcome. Wang Shanglong and Dr. Gao shared a peaceful relationship, but when Chen Ge prepared to enter the bedroom, everything changed. He followed Dr. Gao and removed his shoes, but when he stepped into the bedroom, the smiling Wang Shanglong suddenly stopped. His expression turned serious. He glared at Chen Ge, and it felt like he was a lion who felt some other dangerous beast entering his territory. Dr. Gao, who was sat beside Wang Shanglong, felt this most directly. He looked at Chen Ge with confusion. Chen Ge himself felt this. Wang Shanglong's reaction was abnormal to his eyes. What did the man sense on me? Is it the residual smell of the stray cat, or can the monster on him sense the presence of Zhang Ya? Chen Ge stopped moving and took a seat further away from Wang Shanglong. Perhaps it's the sudden influx of strangers that has unsettled him. Dr. Gao tried to smooth over the situation and started chatting with Wang Shanglong. He was a professional. He did not bring up anything related to mental disease. It felt like he was merely chatting with a friend, and Wang Shanglong slowly relaxed, using the board to respond to Dr. Gao's occasional questions. Chen Ge did not say a word, and he focused fully on listening. Dr. Gao was tactful with his speech. It might have seemed like small talk, but unconsciously, he had drawn out many secrets from Wang Shanglong, including the darkest memory from his childhood and his daily habits, as well as his history with doctors. The conversation continued for 40 minutes, and the longer the conversation went on, the more Dr. Gao felt this was not a psychological patient. Wang Shanglong's mind was clear and bright. He was willing to communicate with others and showed desire to receive treatment. Listening to their conversation, Wang Shanglong's family was gratified. Despite his looks, they knew Wang Shanglong was a kind and harmless child. After the conversation ended, Dr. Gao exited the bedroom. He pulled Wang Shanglong's father to the side to ask, "The child acts very normally. It doesn't seem like he is tormented by psychological illness. I can't help but suspect he is hiding something from me." Mental patients, for the most parts, were like normal human beings. It was only when their illness acted up that they would commit actions that normal people would not understand. The child has never hurt anyone and has not done anything weird. Other than the refusal to speak and move, he is just like a normal person. Wang Shanglong's father fetched a glass of water for Dr. Gao. When Dr. Gao conversed with Wang Shanglong, the latter had told him about the childhood nightmare. A normal child suddenly lost his power to speak. Could the story he was telling be real? Wang Shanglong's father shook his head with a sigh. "We have no idea whether it's real or not. We've seen so many doctors, but none of them could confirm or deny it. Whether it's real or not is not that important. The important part is even after so many years, Shanglong can still recount it in such detail. This means that the incident has impacted him greatly. As long as we can solve this problem, he should be able to regain the ability to speak. But if this incident is completely made up, how are we supposed to help him solve it?" Wang Hailong asked. "Even if it is fictional, every single detail in it has a real meaning to Shanglong, just like how dreams often reflect real life." Dr. Gao took out his phone to show that he had recorded his conversation with Wang Shanglong. "We cannot take everything at a surface level. Temporarily, I cannot promise you anything, but I will try my best. Dr. Gao, as long as you can cure Shanglong? I don't have much confidence either. After all, his language power must have regressed since he hasn't spoken for so many years." Dr. Gao looked back into the bedroom. "But the most stressing issue is not his psychological problem, but his physical issue. He is seriously overweight, and this puts his life in danger. We have talked to him about this, but he dislikes exercise. He prefers to just stay inside his bedroom. He doesn't even want to move out to the living room." Wang Shanglong's father was also frustrated. "Try to communicate with him and tell him that this is normal to change his worldview and perspective. Then his action might change." Dr. Gao discussed the situation with Wang Shanglong's family outside the bedroom. Inside the bedroom, Chen Ge sat across from Wang Shanglong. By then, the smile on Wang Shanglong's face had disappeared. His beady eyes that almost disappeared among his folds of fat narrowed into slits as he studied Chen Ge. "Wang Shanglong, I want to help you, so I hope you will stop hiding things from me." Chen Ge maintained a safe distance from Wang Shanglong. The man was very cautious of Chen Ge, and Chen Ge refused to get any closer because of the stench that came off the man. However, it appeared like only Chen Ge could smell it. Grabbing the board, Wang Shanglong wrote, "I'm not hiding anything. I've told you everything. You know whether that is true or not." Chen Ge lowered his voice. "Their focus is on why you aren't talking, but I'm different. I'm more curious about the other memory that you most detest. What happened to you when you were inside the third sick hall?" The mention of the third sick hall caused the flesh on Wang Shanglong's face to shake violently. His chubby hands clenched into fist, and his body shook unevenly. "Your aversion to doctors occurred after you left the third sick hall, so what happened to you inside that hospital?" Chen Ge held Wang Shanglong's fists. "You are a normal person, but you are under the threat of something abnormal. Tell me the truth. I can help you." Wang Shanglong rejected Chen Ge's offer. He suddenly went berserk and shoved Chen Ge away with powerful force. Catching his breath, Wang Shanglong glared at Chen Ge. After a long time, he wrote this down on the board. "We have both transformed into monsters. Instead of worrying about me, you'd better worry about yourself."